About 200 yards down this road is apparently where the murder occurred.
It was 1989 in Titusville, Florida, when police recorded a young woman's statement about a horrific encounter during a midnight drive.
I jumped in the truck, shut the passenger door, and then I reached over and locked it, and I heard about 5 or 6 gunshots.
Kim Halleck said she and her ex-boyfriend, Chip Flynn, were kidnapped and attacked at gunpoint.
I heard Chip yell, "Go."
Kim fled the scene, but Chip didn't make it out alive.
All right, calling all true crime fans, that was part of the trailer for Murder in the Orange Grove, the troubled case against Crossley Green.
In a new mini-series podcast from 48 Hours, joining us now to talk about it is our good friend Erin Moriarty.
Hi, Erin.
How are you?
Hey, Scott and Kara. It's so nice being here, and I really look forward to being able to talk about the podcast.
Yeah, first of all, I'm having dinner with Richard Schlesinger on Sunday. If you can come, we'd love to have you.
You know what? That's so funny because, of course, when I think of you, I think of Richard loves your station, loves to be on your station. So that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Your former CBS buddy. You know, true crime is huge.
My friend still.
Exactly.
Yes. Current buddy, former CBS. Okay, so anyway, true crime is such a big thing right now. I know so many people who are driving their kids everywhere on these long trips for sports and listening to true crime. But I love that we have the credibility of CBS, your amazing reporting. Can you tell us about that night in 1989 and why you've been covering this case so much?
Well, when I first started on the story, and it was 25 years ago, I didn't start at the very beginning, but 25 years ago, I really started on it thinking it was the way the police said it was, that this was a robbery that had gone wrong, ended up in a murder. The only eyewitness, the victim's girlfriend, said that they had been robbed by a black man who then drove them to an orange grove, and then he shot Chip. But the longer I stayed on the story, there were just things that didn't add up. The timeline didn't add up. Why did it take her an hour to get help for him? Then later on, I met the first responders who didn't think there was a robbery at all. In fact, they thought maybe the victim shot Chip Flynn. So I stayed on this case because if in fact it wasn't a robbery gone wrong, then the wrong person is sitting in prison. And I've gotten to know Crossley Green over the years, and his case just stays in my head. I'm not exaggerating, there is rarely a day I don't wake up and think about him.
Wow.
You know, there are organizations out there who try to get these people freed. Has that gone into any process, or is there any motion there?
Scott, they have, Crossley Green has a great legal team. The problem is really the appellate system. And I think that's why I look forward to doing this case. I don't think people understand. We have problems enough in the legal system. The wrong people can be convicted. But it's so easy to convict someone and so difficult to correct a wrongful conviction. And that's what this case seems to illustrate. And it's why I've stayed on it so long, even with good lawyers. You know, if you're actually innocent, in appellate court, they don't look back at the facts of the case. They just look to see whether the judge or the prosecutor made a mistake. And if they didn't, your innocence really doesn't matter. I know that sounds crazy.
That is crazy.
But when you listen to this podcast, you'll understand it.
And he was just, to be clear, as I look at the history that you sent us, he was convicted and sentenced to death by an all-white jury, and he still insists he never did this. So what could be the happy ending if, in fact, he's innocent?
Well, when you listen to the podcast, you'll realize that there have been ups and downs. So there was a time when a federal judge overturned his conviction. And then because of the pandemic, Crossley Green walked out for 2 years. And then what I've never seen happen in all the years I've been doing this, and we all know I've been doing this a while, he went back to prison. So hopefully a podcast like this will get people interested enough to put pressure on so that he at least is released on parole.
Wow.
I don't think anyone who listens to the podcast won't really feel for this man.
We got to let you go, Erin, but I think even if you weren't working for CBS, you would still be on this case personally, so we thank you for your fortitude.
It's great seeing both of you, Scott and Kara.
It
I
is
appreciate
terrific.
this.
We love you.
We
So
love you.
Take care.
Thanks, Erin. And the podcast episodes, if you're intrigued, they're going to be released weekly on Wednesdays. Episode 1's already available. You can download it wherever you get your podcasts. And subscribers of the 48 Hours Plus on Apple Podcast or Wondery Plus can actually listen to episodes ad-free and a week early if you want.
That's even better.
Yeah, so make sure you subscribe.
All right, still ahead on this Thursday afternoon. Get ready to come on down, Kara. The Price is Right Live is heading to Connecticut. How you can get in on the game show fun. That's next.
So much fun. And later, an intimate look at Alzheimer's disease. We're speaking with a local author who's spreading awareness and compassion with her own stories. Great Day, Connecticut. We'll be right back.